12 of ours were taken, ripped apart, left as warnings. The mistake they made wasn't killing our people, it was thinking we'd let it stand. They started with 12. We'll finish with millions. In the outer dark, the galaxy forgot who we are. They forgot we're the apex. They forgot we're the ones who burn worlds when angered. This isn't just payback. It's extinction with interest. 12 bodies, broken and burned, lay in a circle beneath the crimson sky. Rourke Kane stared at them, his fists clenched so tight blood seeped from his palms. He didn't blink, didn't breathe. Not until the soft whimper of a surviving drone's transmission whispered into his ear. No life signs. All units confirmed dead. The voice trembled. Machines weren't supposed to sound afraid. Rourke exhaled slow, like dragging air through smoke. They made a mistake. He muttered it, not to the drone, not even to himself, but to the universe. Behind him, Governor Tall approached, flanked by 2 colony guards. "We didn't authorize this survey, Caney. You were warned. Don't." Rourke turned. His eyes were dead glass. "Don't you dare speak about authorization. They were my men." Tall shifted, uneasy. "It's a tragedy, yes, but retaliation." Rourke walked past him fast. "Retaliation? No." He stopped, looking over his shoulder, voice ice. "This is extermination." He stormed through the camp, alarms now blaring across Kepler 62F's main outpost. Civilians cried. Screens flashed the alien glyphs carved into flesh. The council debated action. The colony, built on the bones of Earth's pioneers, trembled. But Rourke didn't stop. He had a destination. The armory gates loomed ahead, sealed since Earth declared peace with the galaxy decades ago. "Open it," he barked to the AI. "Access denied," came the calm reply. He ripped the access panel off, jamming his neural key into the core. "Override. Code Wraith 77. The AI hesitated. "Warning. Activating this arsenal violates Earth's peace accords." Rourke grinned. "Peace died with them." The gates groaned, dust falling from old steel. Inside, relics of war, gleamed, rail rifles, plasma mortars, and one thing he needed most. The worm drone, a black market AI bomb banned for melting minds. He grabbed it, feeling the heat of vengeance in his bones. His comm crackled. "Commander Kane, report to..." "The council chamber immediately," he answered without hesitation. "No." Down in the council chambers, holograms flickered as Tal shouted, "He's going rogue!" Rourke didn't care. He stood on the landing pad, drone in hand, staring into the alien jungle beyond. His second-in-command, Riker, jogged up. "You're serious? They slaughtered our people. We won't survive if we wait." He shoved the drone into Riker's arms. "Prep the assault team. We hit Hive Nest 1 at dawn." Riker hesitated. "There's hundreds of them." "Then we'll kill hundreds." Night fell hard. Fires lit the sky where the outpost burned. Rourke sat alone, sharpening a blade, watching the flame dance. The ghosts of his 12 circled his mind. "I told you this planet wasn't safe," he muttered, slicing the air. "But you believed them, believed we could live here like settlers." He stood, slamming the blade into his belt. "We're not settlers. We're survivors." The dawn rose blood red. His squad gathered, armored, silent. No speeches, just nods. The dropship roared to life, kicking dust and ash into the sky. Rourke's voice echoed through comms. 12 lives, 12 reasons. You kill one of us, we kill thousands of you. That's the deal." As they flew, Riker scanned the hive readings. "Movement detected. Lots of them." "Good," Rourke said. "I want them all there." The ship descended, landing hard near the hive's entrance, a yawning maw in the earth. The air stank of rot and old war. Rourke led the charge, rifle raised, eyes sharp. Inside, the walls pulsed, alive. Shadows moved, claws clattered. The first wave hit them like a storm. Zoreth, tall, sinewed beast with bone blades for arms. Rourke fired first, cutting 2 down. His men followed. Precise, brutal. Sweep left, he barked. Riker lobbed a plasma grenade, the explosion lighting the hive in blue fire. Rourke pushed forward, deeper, stepping over corpses, his rage mounting. He reached the chamber, where the 12 had died. There, etched into the stone, were more symbols. But now, a message. First trial, prove strength. Rourke laughed, a savage sound. Strength? You want strength? He planted the worm drone at the hive's heart. You'll see strength! The Zoreth came in droves, shrieking, swarming. His squad fought like wolves, tearing through them. Detonate! Riker shouted. Rourke held. Not yet! More Zoreth fell. Blood slicked the walls. His visor cracked, but his grip didn't. Finally, he pressed the trigger. Burn! The drone ignited, sending a pulse through the hive, frying neural links, collapsing minds. The Zoreth screamed, dropping like puppets with cut strings. Silence. Riker coughed, standing amid the ruin. We did it. Rourke stared at the dead. No, this was just the start. He looked to the sky where more hives waited. They wanted a trial. Now we give them war. Rourke stood in the ruins of Hive Nest 1, the stench of charred flesh and acid blood clinging to the air. His armor was scorched, visor cracked, but his eyes burned brighter than ever. One down, he muttered. Thousands more to go. Riker approached, limping, his shoulder bleeding. We can't keep this up, Commander. We took hits, heavy ones. We need time. Rourke turned to him, voice low and cutting. Time is a luxury. Those things aren't waiting, and neither are we. The comms unit on his wrist buzzed. The council again. He didn't bother answering. The colony wasn't in charge anymore. They'd voted for peace while the enemy sharpened their claws. Rourke's vote was cast in blood. He tapped the comms. Open to his squad. We move in 6 hours. Target, Hive Nest 2. Full burn. Riker flinched. We don't have the munitions. We'll make do. As the squad prepped, the airwaves filled with a strange hum, alien, rhythmic, like a chant. Rourke listened, eyes narrowing. The Zoreth were sending a message. Judgment comes. Prove strength or perish. He spat. We're past proving. He returned to the armory alone, standing before a sealed vault marked Forbidden. He keyed in a code long erased from the official records. The door hissed open, revealing a weapon older than the colony itself. The Shattercore, a prototype. Bomb designed to implode matter at a molecular level. Unstable, illegal, perfect. Riker caught him carrying it to the dropship. You're insane. Probably, Rourke said, strapping it down. But I'm alive, and I plan to stay that way. You'll level the entire valley. Good. Let them feel it. As they lifted off, storm clouds gathered. The jungle below writhed, alive with the enemy. Hive Nest 2 wasn't hiding. They were waiting. A trap? Rourke smiled. Let them try. The ship landed hard, weapons blazing before the ramp dropped. Rourke led the charge, no hesitation. The Zoreth came, wave after wave, faster, more vicious. His squad held the line, teeth gritted, guns overheating. Set the core! Rourke shouted, hurling grenades into the swarms. Riker and 2 others ran for the hive's heart, carrying the bomb. Rourke covered them, carving a path through the chaos. His rifle jammed. He switched to his blade, slashing, tearing. Suddenly, the ground shook. A roar, deep and primal, echoed through the hive. From the shadows emerged a massive figure, 8 feet tall, armored in bone, eyes glowing. The Zoreth Overlord. It spoke, not with words, but thoughts, piercing Rourke's mind. Weak. You defy judgment. You die. Rourke staggered, pain searing his skull. He forced a grin. Heard worse from better, the Overlord charged. Rourke ducked, driving his blade into its side, but it barely flinched. It struck back, sending him crashing into a wall. Blood filled his mouth, but he rose, laughing. "That all you got?" He grabbed a fallen rifle, blasting point-blank into its face. The Overlord reeled, roaring, but didn't fall. Rourke didn't stop. He leapt, knife flashing, driving it into the creature's throat. Black ichor sprayed, burning his skin, but he held on, tearing the blade free. The Overlord collapsed, twitching, dying. "Judgment denied," Rourke spat, wiping the blood from his eyes. Riker's voice crackled in. "Bombs set! Timers live!" "Fall back," Rourke ordered. "Now!" The squad ran, the hive crumbling around them. Zoreth shrieked, panic, in their ranks. Rourke grabbed Riker as they reached the ship. "Go! Go!" They lifted off just as the valley exploded, the shatter core ripping the land apart. The hive vanished in light and fury, leaving only silence. Back at the outpost, they landed to stunned faces. The council stood waiting, pale, afraid. "You just wiped out a region," Tall said, voice shaking. Rourke stepped off the ramp, blood-streaked, smoke rising from his armor. "No, I sent a message." "To who?" "To everyone." He turned to his squad. "Next target, Hive Nest 3. We don't stop until they do." Riker nodded, the others following. Fear was gone now. Only purpose remained. As night fell, the hum returned, louder, clearer. "We see your strength. Now face ours." Rourke smiled. Finally. The wind screamed across the blasted plain as Rourke Kane stood at the edge of the crater, the Seg, smoldering ruin of Hive Nest 2 still glowing behind him. Ash rained like snow, coating everything in a film of war. His squad, what was left of it, moved silently, their eyes hollow, their movements sharp. Riker approached, blood staining his gauntlet. "We've got a problem." Rourke didn't move. "Another hive?" "Worse. They're converging." He turned, his face carved from stone. "How many?" "Thousands. All nests. Moving on. The colony." Rourke's lips curled into something between a snarl and a grin. "Finally. They'll overwhelm us. The council's evacuating. They can run." Rourke wiped ash from his visor. "We fight." The comms flared too, life with a voice, cold and alien, yet unmistakably clear. "You have shown strength. Now face unity. Submit, and your kind will survive." Rourke laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. "You killed 12 of ours. You expect submission? This is your only offer. Here's mine. Come and get us." He cut the signal and turned to his squad. "We hold them here." Riker shook his head. "You're talking about fighting every hive. That's suicide." Rourke's gaze was fire. "It's vengeance." They returned to the outpost, now a fortress. Civilians loaded into transports, the council barking orders, fear dripping from every word. Rourke ignored them, heading straight for the central command. The AI greeted him coldly. "Final defense. Protocols require authorization." "Override," he snapped. "Specify command." "Project Hellmouth." The AI paused. "Project Hellmouth will devastate a 50-mile radius. Civilian casualties. They had their chance to run." "Confirmed." Riker slammed his fist on the console. "You're going to wipe out everything." Rourke leaned in. "Everything but us." Outside, the sky darkened as the swarm approached, a black tide stretching across the horizon. The ground shook beneath the march of thousands. Zoreth. In formation, a living army of bone and fury. Rourke donned his helmet, sealing it tight. "Positions." His squad moved, manning turrets, loading cannons, setting mines. Every corner of the outpost became a weapon. Rourke stood at the front, rifle in hand, eyes locked on the enemy. The first wave hit like a storm. Explosions ripped through the air, bodies flung like rag dolls. The outpost roared with fire, the Zoreth answering with screeches of rage. Rourke moved through them like a ghost, every shot precise, every strike fatal. He didn't fight for survival, he fought for retribution. "Left flank's breaking!" Riker shouted. "Hold it!" Rourke barked, launching a grenade. The line wavered, then held. The enemy pressed, endless, relentless. For every one they killed, 10 more came. "Commander," the AI called, "Hellmouth sequence ready." Rourke glanced at his men, bloodied, exhausted, still standing. He activated the comm. "All squads, fall back to the core, now." Riker stared at him. "You're really doing this? We die, or they do." The squad retreated, the enemy swarming in, sensing victory. Rourke stood at the command center, hand on the trigger. "Final warning," the AI said. He looked to the sky, then at the swarm closing in. "Let's see if they can survive hell." He pressed the button. The ground split open as Hellmouth ignited, a wave of fire and fury consuming everything in its path. Zoreth screamed, their bodies vaporized, their hives torn from the earth. The sky turned white, then black. Silence. Rourke stood amidst the ruin, smoke rising around him. Riker stumbled forward. "We won." Rourke shook his head. "Not yet." The comm crackled once more. "Impressive, but you cannot destroy what you are." He froze. "What did you say?" "You are ours." Pain shot through his skull, visions flooding his mind, memories not his own. The Zoreth, the war, the creation. Rourke dropped to his knees, clutching his head. "Commander!" Riker grabbed him, but Rourke's eyes burned with something new. "They were made by us." The truth hit like a hammer. The Zoreth weren't alien. They were human, twisted, evolved, abandoned weapons from a forgotten war. Rourke rose, shaking with rage. "We didn't just start this war, we made it!" Riker stared, horror dawning. "What the hell do we do now?" Rourke looked out at the ruins. "We finish it." Rourke's breath came hard and fast, the weight of the revelation pressing against his chest like a vice. The Zoreth weren't just an enemy. They were a mirror. Humanity's sins, buried in deep space, returned. He paced the ruined command center, boots crunching over shattered stone and scorched metal. The Hellmouth strike had obliterated the swarm, but not the truth. Riker followed him, grim-faced. "You sure?" "They used our genes," Rourke growled, gripping the edge of the console. "Our tech. They're us, Riker. Twisted, evolved, left behind like trash." His fists slammed into the steel. "And now they've come to collect." Riker shook his head. "This changes nothing. They killed our people." "It changes everything," Rourke snapped back. "We didn't just poke the beast, we built it." The comms crackled again, the alien voice cold and knowing. "You see, now, you are creators, destroyers. The cycle is yours." Rourke leaned in, eyes narrowed. "I don't care what you are. You think I'll stop because of guilt? Because we made you? No. We expect you to finish what you began." Static hissed. Then silence. Rourke stared at the dark screen, jaw tight. "They want us to end them." "Why?" Riker asked. "Because they can't," Rourke muttered. "They're stuck. Hive minds, bound to code, instinct. They can't break free." He turned, eyes blazing. "But we can." Outside, the sky rippled with strange lights. Ships, not of Zoreth make, but older, human in design. Derelicts orbiting the planet long lost. The AI chimed. "Incoming transmissions from orbital relics, accessing." The screens lit up with fragmented logs. Images of scientists, engineers, soldiers. Fear in their eyes. Project Dominion is unstable. We're abandoning the site. Purge protocols failed. Rourke watched, stone-faced. They tried to wipe them out. And failed, Riker finished. A final log played, a lone figure, scarred, desperate. If anyone finds this, we couldn't kill them. But maybe you can. Burn the core. Burn everything. Rourke straightened, purpose igniting. The core. Riker blinked. What core? The overmind. The thing binding them. It's still here, buried deep. You sure? I am now. He grabbed his gear, slamming a fresh clip into his rifle. We go underground. The AI chimed again. Coordinates identified, deep beneath Hive Nest 0. Rourke grinned. The first nest. The dropship was barely holding together, patched. From battle, engines whining, Rourke stood at the helm, gaze locked on the horizon. Riker joined him, silent. You with me? Rourke asked. Riker nodded. To the end, they flew low, avoiding the remains of swarming drones, diving straight into the crater that marked the original Zor-Eth rise. The ground opened before them, a maw of ancient stone and steel. Landing hard, they moved fast, deeper into the earth than any human had dared. The walls pulsed with life, veins of energy running like blood. The further they went, the clearer. The whispers became, voices human and not, memories echoing in the dark. At the heart, they found it. The core, a mass of light and machinery tangled in organic tendrils, humming with power. Rourke approached, feeling the weight of history pressing down. The voice returned, but softer now. We cannot choose. You can. Rourke stared at the core, rifle raised. What happens if we leave it? We endure, we wait, and we return. He glanced at Riker, who nodded. No waiting. Rourke stepped closer, placing the charges. We didn't survive this long to leave a job half done. The core pulsed, brighter. We are you. No, Rourke said, arming the detonator. You're the past. They ran, the tunnel collapsing behind them. Reaching the surface, Rourke triggered the blast. The ground shook, fire ripping through the hive, the sky lit with the death of the overmind. As silence fell, Rourke looked to the stars. It's done. Riker stood beside him, breathing hard. What now? Rourke smiled, for the first time in years. Now we live. The silence didn't last. Not even an hour after the core was obliterated, the planet began to shift. Rourke and Riker stood near the ruined rim of Hive Nest 0, watching cracks spider across the terrain. The ground wasn't just wounded. It was convulsing, reacting, like a living thing writhing in its death throes. Riker spat into the dirt. You said we finished it. I did, Rourke replied, scanning the horizon. But I didn't say it would die quietly. The sky lit up. Deep in orbit, the ancient relic ships once dormant began to burn in their decaying orbits. They were tethered to the overmind. With it gone, their systems failed in unison. Flaming trails streaked overhead as dead hulks rained from space, shaking the mountains and punching craters into the world they'd fought to defend. The colonies, comms crackled to life. All channels, emergency alert, multiple impacts detected, planetary instability rising, seismic activity escalating. We are evacuating all non-essential personnel. Non-essential, Rourke muttered. That's what they always call the ones who bleed. Riker tapped his shoulder. They're asking for you. Rourke activated the comm. Caney here. Governor Tall's voice returned, trembling. We need leadership. People are panicking. Then tell them the truth. The monsters are dead. Now we deal with what's left. Do we evacuate? No, Rourke said firmly. We hold, we rebuild, and we remember why we never let the past rot underground again. There was silence on the line, then a meek, "Understood." Rourke cut the comm and turned back toward the crater. The earth was bleeding light, molten seams breaking open like veins. Riker stepped beside him. "You really think that was it? That we got them all?" "No," Rourke said, "but I think we killed what kept them alive." From the crater's edge, a shape emerged. Thin, small, human-like. A child. Alone, naked, glowing faintly from beneath translucent skin. No mouth, no eyes. Just a face, smooth and featureless. It stopped 5 feet from them, tilting its head. Riker raised his weapon. "Don't," Rourke ordered. "What the hell is that?" "A message." The child lifted its hand. A burst of data flooded Rourke's neural comm. Images, language, history. It wasn't a child. It was a failsafe, a piece of the overmind, distilled, pure, untainted. A final copy of what they were before the hives, before the war. It was knowledge. Rourke's jaw tensed. "They wanted us to kill them because they couldn't evolve." Riker lowered his gun. "You saying we were their plan B?" "No, we were the final test." The being spoke, not with words, but intent. "We were war. You are choice." Rourke took a step forward. "And what happens if we fail that choice?" The being's head turned toward the sky. One by one, stars blinked in and out, satellites and ships going dark. Somewhere out there, remnants of Dominion still drifted, still watching, still waiting. "They're listening," Riker whispered. "They always were," Rourke replied. He looked at the being again. "You want me to carry your history?" The creature nodded. "I won't." Its head tilted. "I won't carry your past, but I'll use it to shape our future." A pulse of light burst from the being. It collapsed, turning to ash, its knowledge embedding itself into the comm system. A massive archive, everything the Zoreth ever were before they became beasts. Rourke turned to Riker. "Get it encrypted, locked, no access without oversight. You really think someone's going to ask to open it?" "They will, and when they do, they'll have to answer for it." They walked back to the colony. Fires still burned, but they were controlled now. Survivors worked, rebuilt, armed the walls. The people hadn't fled. They stayed. That mattered. The council met Rourke outside the gate. Tal stepped forward. "You disobeyed orders. You unleashed forbidden weapons. You ignored our authority." "I did," Rourke said. "And now you're alive." "You expect thanks?" "I expect nothing," Rourke said coldly. "But I suggest next time, when monsters start carving messages into corpses, you listen to the man who's seen war up close." The council fell silent. Rourke stepped past them, Riker at his side. "We need to fortify. Dominion's gone here, but it wasn't the only node. Somewhere out there, more hives are sleeping. If they wake up and we're not ready, this'll happen again." Tal looked nervous. "How do you plan to prepare?" Rourke stopped, turning back. "We don't prepare. We evolve." Weeks passed. The colony transformed. Orbital defense. Platforms rose from shattered wreckage. AI sentinels patrolled the skies. The children learned not just math and science, but how to wield rifles, how to defend themselves, how to never be prey again. And beneath it all, buried under the mountain, the archive remained locked, coded only to Rourke's DNA. One day, Riker entered Rourke's command center. "There's a signal." Rourke didn't look up. "From where?" "Outer belt. Deep space. Human beacon, but it's old. Real old." Rourke stood slowly, eyes narrowing. "Play it." The room filled with static, then a voice. A woman. "Calm. If you're hearing this, we failed. The Zoreth broke containment. If Earth survives, know this. Our children are still out there, and they're not alone." The message ended. Rourke sat down, resting his hands on the table. They were spread wider than we thought. Riker leaned against the wall. Then what now? We go further, Rourke said. We find them. We finish it. You want to hunt them? No, Rourke said. I want to reach them first, before someone else makes the same mistake. He paused, his voice quieter. And if they're beyond saving, then yeah, I'll burn them too. Riker exhaled. God help anything that wakes us up again. Rourke smiled faintly. God won't help them. We will. And outside the command post, beneath twin moons and blackened skies, the next generation of humans trained with grit in their blood and fire in their hearts. Because in the galaxy's forgotten corners, war was waiting, but so were they.